What's happening? This is Ryan Dawkins, and you're tuning in to The LOFT.
Have brought out the best of me.
All right, welcome to Philly.
Thanks, man.
You said it was an easy drive.
Yeah, quick ride down. Philly's like second home these days, man.
Dude, I know. I've been seeing you in Philly a lot, bro. I love it.
I love coming down here. Like, it's a dope city, a dope food city, which I love. So I always try to like try new spots, or if I stay over, like hit some breakfast spots for sure. Yeah,
I was gonna be the first question I asked you. What are your thoughts on Philly? Because like I said, I've been seeing you a lot, playing in Philly more, and kind of being in the Philly scene more. So I'm curious, like, what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah. So forever, like, I always felt like Philly was similar to New York with a heavy hip hop city. And whenever I came down here, it was like, all right, well, you can do your thing, but make sure you just play open format and mix in the hip hop stuff. Whereas more lately, I've been playing at Parlay at Barstool, and then I've been playing at Vinyl more recently. And like, they just let me rock house music all night, which is amazing. And sort of the lane that I've been going down. So
yeah, I know a lot of places tend to be open format, but honestly, I feel like, by the way, this is DJ Cream. He's a DJ in New York. He's been killing it. The reason why I introduced him like that is because we're probably going to get a little bit techie, not too techie, but we'll probably start talking a little bit about DJing, but I definitely want to get into more of like your why and mindset and stuff like that. Cause
for sure.
Cause I've seen your podcast and it's been great. I've tuned in a little bit. And obviously it's a lot about building your career and your brand, but I definitely want to get into like your mindset. That's kind of what we do in the Loft. Like, I love to ask people's whys and, explore like the trials and errors of getting to where you want to be, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, but I'm happy you love Philly. Philly definitely loves you as well. Definitely have a lot of food in this, like a lot of good foods in this city. For sure. Nightlife's, I think personally think nightlife is great in Philly. And obviously playing the house music, I feel like that's been growing a lot recently.
Yeah.
With like a lot of these venues, typically they would try to go more open format. There's certain rooms that are just meant for open format, but I feel like a lot of rooms also are transitioning into the house because it's like really in right now.
Yeah, it's like the popular.
Yeah.
It's a popular sound, and you can now get away with it. Whereas, you have to throw those party hip hop sets in no matter what, usually. Whereas now you can kind of navigate, pleasing like the hip hop heads of the open format style with house music. There's a lot of like hip hop remixes,
right?
Especially when I play a parlay, like, I know they want to hear hip hop, but at the same time, the room allows me to just do the house music thing. So I play a lot of like hip hop vocal remixes down there,
and they hit.
They hit. The staff loves it, and like the customers love it. So it just works out.
Yeah, the one manager Shannon loves like Sexy Red. So
I
try to find like any Sexy Red edit I can just to make sure, like, because I'll play it and then I'll know you have like a workers that you work with and you play a certain song, you're looking for them in the room. I'll play Sexy Red edit and I'll wait for her to pop out and start going nuts.
It's smart though. You got to play for your staff too a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Where you're at now, right, with your career, are there ever times when you reflect back of like when you first started? Do you ever think about that, or do you always like look ahead? I know for a lot of entrepreneurs and people who have a career that's very hustle oriented, you're only as good as the last thing you've done. Has there ever been a period where you've looked back on like what you've done and kind of reflected?
Yeah, it's not always the easiest thing. I think for us, it's always what's the next thing? How do we grow to the next place, the next city, the next venue, whatever the case may be. So for a long time, I didn't really reflect back, but as I started working with more younger DJs and like helping them grow and seeing their journeys, it's like, yo, think about a year ago where you were, or think about 3 years ago where you are, and think about where you are now. And most of the time we could all think back and we've grown and we started playing better places or working with bigger DJs or making music or whatever the goals are. So now reflecting back and looking back, it's really important because you can see the growth. And I think you need to have that like positive reinforcement in order to be able to continue forward. And sometimes it doesn't feel like you're growing, but if you think back a year or 2 years or 3 years or even 5 years, it's like, damn, I grew so much.
Yeah, dude, Yeah, it was so funny. I was going through my phone and I found a picture of the first picture of me DJing. It's on one of my posts. I'll show you. But my mom took it. It was like at a Sweet 16 when I was 16 years old. And I always look at that picture because it's like, you just look at the gear. You look at, I was wearing jeans and an Arab pastel shirt. Like, you know, it's just so funny because you look at where you start. I always remain grateful and just like reflect. And, you know, you mentioned like just how you originally started. When it comes to trying to find a way to frame it, with your journey, obviously going back 3 years, 5 years, is there anything you ever do that helps you stay focused? Is there anything you do in your daily routine that kind of keeps you focused, right?
It's all non-music related.
Exactly. That's exactly why I ask it. So I'm always curious, like, what's your routine to stay focused?
Yeah, so I'm a very like regimented, scheduled person. I like my routines for sure. I have a morning routine. I have a work routine. I have like a shut it down routine.
Yeah.
So some things that are important for me, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So whether it's like news or tech or sports or whatever it might be, lots of podcasts in the morning as I'm like going about my day. Working out, I try to work out, even if it's just like a 30-minute walk around the block. Just like if I'm getting stressed or the day sucks or I need a break, it's like, let me go outside, walk around, take a TO. So the workouts and you know, the walks are important.
Yeah. I've taken up boxing.
Nice.
So I've been loving that, dude. It's just like you know, it's so funny. I said this to my coach because when I first started, I was shit, right? So like, I was like, dude, this is the first time in like years that like I've done something where like I've had to learn from the ground up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I love like challenging myself and like finding new hobbies and stuff like that. And so you originated in the New York scene. Obviously, you know, you've grown a lot in your career. But what do you think has been a huge part of your growth just as like as a human and as an artist?
I mean, I would say persistence, number one. Hard work, obviously. I mean, like if you're not busting your ass and working on this every single day, other people they're going to outwork you and pass you. It's taken me a really long time to sort of reach some of these goals, and everybody's journey is different. So like, it's persistence for sure. I think like waking up every day, having a plan, understanding what your goals are, because if you're just waking up and doing work, like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're reaching your goals by the work that you're doing. So I think being extremely focused, knowing what you want to accomplish on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, and having those big goals. You know, I like to have like my big stuff right in front of my face above my computer screen so that I see it every single day. So yeah, I think those are some of the most important.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, there's this new thing that I've been doing. I forget his fucking name, but I just bought his book, and in his book he calls it time travel, and it sounds nuts, but I would love to share this with you just so you can maybe, if you want to do it. He calls it time travel, and so you get a whiteboard or like a piece of paper, and you write what your goal is. Like, say for example, if your goal is, you know, I want $1 million net worth, right? You take emotion, you do a section with emotion, thoughts, and actions. And in the emotions, you write all of the good emotions that somebody with $1 million would have, right? Like they feel good about themselves, they're secure, you know, they feel happy, they feel generous. And then on the bottom, you write the negative thoughts of somebody who doesn't have that, who's poor. And you write like, you know, depressed, sad, worried, stuff like that. You go over to thoughts. What are you thinking? You're thinking about your next big investment. You're thinking about how you can go on a vacation with your family. You know, like all the good thoughts, and then it's negative on the bottom. And then actions. Are you investing? Are you giving to charity? Like good and bad. And the point being is, he says, when you write all those good, you're already giving yourself the blueprint. So if you put that in your thoughts and actions and emotions, you're naturally telling the universe that that's what you want. You're attracting it. And I found it so fascinating because a lot of times, just like I said, I like to use the word entrepreneur for people like us on our journeys, so more people can relate to it, is that we are always focused on, and we're always stressed, like you said, always pressure, so much pressure. A lot of time recently, I've been focusing a lot on just like thinking of like, oh, what would a touring DJ think, or what would someone with $1 million net worth think, right? And I found that to be like the abundance mindset. I don't know if that's stuff you really practice or look into, but I always found it to be.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think like you talk about reading and like micro learning and entrepreneurialism, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have that mind state no matter what you're doing, right? Like we can sort of create this blueprint of success as DJs or producers or people in the music industry, but the blueprint can go for a restaurant owner or, you know, if you're a trainer and you're building like a gym or whatever the case may be. So I think it's not just in our lane, right? It's anybody that's successful is learning and reading and writing out their goals and visualizing success. Right. So I don't know. I think that's just the mark of someone who wants to be successful and not necessarily someone who wants to be successful in the music industry.
For sure. We talked a lot about DJing, but I wanted to ask you, one, where did you get the nickname Cream from? I never knew that, so I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, so everyone always thinks it's either like something dirty or Wu-Tang Clan. Like those are the two things that I hear the most. So when I was growing up, I played a lot of sports. I was like a chubby little kid, and I was on a basketball team, and the coach's son used to call me like creamsicle, cream puff, cream soda. Yeah, because I was like this chubby little like prepubescent kid.
Wait, that's so good.
And I was like the youngest one on the team. And like everybody in my town had stupid nicknames for some reason.
Right.
Like my boy Swan and Cream and like all these dumb nicknames. But yeah, so it started in a basketball team, and I had the same coach for baseball the next season, and it just kind of like spiraled.
That's
so
awesome.
All my sports people would call me Cream, and then like you know my friends and whoever wasn't playing with me would start calling me Cream. And as I started DJing and creating this thing, it was like everybody calls me Cream anyway. So what other name would I choose as my artist brand?
Wait, that's so good. I love that. And like, so it was so funny because like growing up in the Northeast, like where I, like Northeast Philly, everyone was like, yo, they just call me DJ Kev. Like even in high school, I just did like, I was doing like just family parties or whatever. People just call me DJ Kev. And I was like, I just kind of ran with like full name, whatever. I just find it so funny that you grew up starting like that and you just kept it and it became part of your identity.
Yeah, I guess it probably started as like a negative and I really just embraced it and turned it into a positive.
Yeah, hell yeah. Did you always want to be a DJ? Is that something you always pursued, or is that something that like you kind of grew into?
I definitely grew into it. I've always been really into music. My family's been super musically oriented forever. My dad played in bands. Both of my brothers played music, like instruments. I never really played instruments, but I was always into the music. So collecting CDs and then MP3s and
LimeWire days.
Yeah, LimeWire days all day. So yeah, just really into music. I first really got into like hip hop and underground hip hop and making hip hop beats like Fruity Loops.
Oh shit, yeah.
As I got into high school, it was like I was making the mixes for our basketball team entrance and like all that stuff.
Wow.
I was like using Audacity, no idea what I was doing, but like making it work.
I gotta listen to one of those, dude.
I gotta find them. They're definitely on an external hard drive somewhere, but so yeah, so like was really into the music always. Was more into the hip hop scene. I went to college and my roommate, my best friend from college, his brother was a DJ and a music producer. He had a group called Sixth Sense and he was based out of New York, but we all went to school in Virginia. So I got to go to some of his shows. He was in like this hip hop group and sort of went to go see his stuff. He like let me use his turntables for a while.
Oh shit.
So in college, I started picking up the DJing thing a little bit. And then when I came back from college, took a little break and ended up just like buying my own stuff and getting more into like the house scene, being down the shore in Jersey, like going to DJs and like getting sucked into the house music thing. Like that sort of took over and, you know, started open format and I was still into hip hop and have always been into hip hop, but like the house music thing really took over for me.
This past summer I had my first grail. So
nice.
it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a crazy, unique place that you have to, everyone should experience if you live in this general area.
First time I went, it was, I forget what, it was sometime in the summer. And I remember I went with my girl and all of her friends and I heard the horn for the first time. I was like, yo, what the fuck is it? Everyone's tossing napkins in the air and shit.
Yeah.
So cool.
Just as like a customer and being like someone who was going there a lot to then being someone who was a resident DJ there, it was like definitely really cool.
Yeah.
as a younger DJ, one of my like big things that I wanted to accomplish for Jersey, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, I look back and I'm like, damn, that was one of my big goals. Whereas like it was such a small goal in the grand scheme of things, but super cool. I mean,
yeah, you know what though? It's so funny you mentioned that, because I feel the same way. Like when I was first starting out, I always try to chase these goals that were big to me, but were small in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But I think that's like the secret sauce that a lot of people forget is like, you know, when a lot of people start off, whether it's DJing or in their entrepreneurial, you know, mindset or their journeys, like I remember the first time I got asked to play at HQ, like I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like I like, you know, I got emotional because I had it on my whiteboard. It was one of my goals on my whiteboard. And then, you know, and then there's other goals that I've had that like, you know, they're like starting to kind of come to fruition. And it's like by chasing those small goals, you're naturally planting the seeds, you're compounding yourself. And I always find it interesting because I think a lot of people try to quote unquote skip the line when I feel like to me, it's like, those small wins you need, because that's the fuel. You know what I mean? If you get somewhere too fast, it's like, you know, you're not ready for it, right? And those years of just hitting those small goals and like playing at DJs and becoming a resident there and you know, playing like that was a big goal for you, but like that's like the abundance mindset that I always talk about, you know?
I feel like you had a lot of gems in what you just said. First of all, like compounding small wins, super important. And those small wins will eventually lead to bigger wins over time, right? Consistency, persistence, all that stuff. When you're checking off the small stuff, the weekly stuff and the monthly stuff, you're going to get to those yearly or 3-year goals eventually as you continue to check that stuff off. So just from like positive reinforcement, checking off those small goals is great, because you can look back and be like, oh man, at the beginning of this year, these were the 5 places that I wanted to get into in Jersey or Philly or whatever your market is. I hit those. So like, what's the next thing? How can I use those 5 small wins to get me into a regional spot, right? Like if I'm in Philly, I want to get to DC. How do I go play the best spot in DC or a cool spot in DC that's on my list? So I think that mind state is really important, and having those wins helps you achieve the bigger thing.
Yeah.
The other thing you said that is so important is everything happens in time, right? You can't, in this game, you cannot cut the line in most cases unless you're Summer Rae or like one of the, like Kyle Cook, like one of these people that has such a huge following. It doesn't matter what they do behind the decks, because they're going to sell tickets and people are going to go see them just because they're celebrities.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you got that HQ opportunity and you weren't ready for it, or you didn't have the skills for it yet, right? And you went there and you got this opportunity and you crashed and burned, right? And you failed. When's the next time you get that opportunity? It may never come.
Exactly.
So wouldn't you rather take an extra year to increase your skills, increase your marketing, your your marketability, whatever it might be, so that when you do get there, you crush and you bring 10 friends and you sell a table and you bring a videographer, and like now you're getting booked regularly at a place that you want to get to. Like, wouldn't you want to have a monthly booking at HQ, but wait a little longer?
Right, exactly.
Then just get in there right away and maybe never get booked again, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, because to them, it's such a big mountain to climb, and they don't understand that it takes one step at a time. Like I always told myself, if there was something I wasn't a part of or somewhere I wasn't playing, I always said to myself, it's my fault. It's no one else's. It's something I'm not doing, because it just means that, because naturally I'm not ready for the moment, because if I was, I'd be in that position, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's where it forces you to get creative, and it also would force you to see if you actually really love this shit. Because if you're not thinking about this shit every day, if you're not, you know, if you're not planning and creating and growing, like you're not gonna last, right? Like, I don't know. I just find it so interesting, because like I always understood why certain, like the Summer Rays of the world, why they get booked, and they may not be the best, most talented, but people want to go see them, and that's part of the entertainment. It's entertainment, right?
People hate on that. I don't hate on it. It's business. Like, can you sell the place out?
Right.
You could be the best DJ in the world, wordplay, scratch, technically amazing, but it doesn't matter if you can't sell the same amount of tickets that Summer Rae can, or insert whatever, you know, DJ, celebrity DJ that you want to insert. So you have to understand from a business perspective, they can sell tickets and make the club rep, like they can make money for the club. Can you make money for the club?
Right.
And like,
Yep.
you have to think about it like that too.
Yeah. The number one word I always use is value.
Right.
And
What value can bring to the table?
Yeah, and that goes with anything in life. I wanted to ask you this as well. So when do you feel like, we talked a lot about the hustle, the work, and the long hours. When did you feel like your work started to pay off? Was there a specific moment in your career that you felt like was like, all right, like this is some motion, I'm getting it together? Is there any specific moment?
I wouldn't say one in, I don't know. I'm thinking back. Like, it's been a long time.
It's
man.
a tough question.
Like, I would say things started moving for me in year 2 to 3, where I started making the right connections and I started making edits. Honestly, that's probably where things started going for me, because I was making a lot of edits. I was sending them to all the record pools, and I was also sending them to all the DJs in New York and New Jersey. Anybody that was headlining the rooms that I wanted to be in, I would send them care packages of music, so that when I would finally meet them in person, I'd introduce myself and they'd be like, oh shit, you're Kareem. I have a whole folder of your edits and I play that shit all the time.
Yeah.
So I think there, and then just from like a national standpoint, when the record pools were posting my stuff on a weekly basis, because I was sending 2 edits a week for 5 years probably to every record pool, pretty much every single week. So I would say that, I guess, was probably the first time where I was like, damn, like the hard work kind of starts paying off when you're consistent and you're sending music out all the time.
Yeah, it's the consistency of it, and start seeing your name on the record pools and shit like that, which is probably cool.
Yeah, I got lucky too, man. Like, my first real nightlife booking was in a club in Hoboken, and that was partly because I went out a lot. You know, I was going out a lot. Me and my friends were, you know, in our early 20s and partying in Hoboken and the city and down the shore, and we knew how to make connections. We like figured out really early, if you got to know staff and managers, even as a customer, you cut the line, you maybe get a free shot, you know, get free tickets to New Year's Eve, or like whatever, you get some perks, right? So, you know, making the right connections. I got lucky. A manager heard me DJ at a Super Bowl party at an apartment in Hoboken, and asked me to DJ at a club in Hoboken to open. And like, the first time I played, I brought out like 60 people probably. I sold a couple tables. Like, I probably was awful as a DJ, but the owner didn't care, because he saw the amount of people I brought out. We made some money, and like, in the grand scheme of things, I only DJ'd till 11:30 or 12 o'clock anyway. And then, you know, like, one of the radio DJs went on, and it was all good.
I love that. Dude, so I want to know more about like you growing up. I know you mentioned you went to college in Virginia.
Yeah, I went to JMU, James Madison University.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I went to school for marketing, and like, people are always like, oh, you went to college for a degree and you never used it. I'm like, bro, I use it every single day. In marketing? Yeah.
You are using it. Like, that's so funny.
So yeah, like, I used a lot of my marketing and sales background, because after I graduated, I did a bunch of different sales jobs. I used that to grow my Cream thing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to school at Temple for entrepreneurship, for media, for business.
Nice.
And then I was like, Trish, my mom, I was like, Trish, I got like a 30 on my first algebra test. I was like, Trish, I'm going to drop out, dude. Like, I can't do this. And she's like, Kev, you know you can switch majors, right? And I was like, really? So I switched to like media and production. And then like, I like studied away in LA for like 6 months, and graduated, and then went like full-time DJing. But it's like so funny, like how just because like, where it's not a 9 to 5, it's still a job. It's still like a, you know, it's still a career. It's still, you know, we're just lucky enough that we love it. You know,
it's a fun job, right? It's you still have to treat it as it's a job, you know. You still have to, whether it might not be a 9 to 5, quote unquote, where you have to go to an office, but like, you have to put 9 to 5 hours in to be successful. Right. Whether you're a DJ or producer or whatever you are. So if you don't have that mind state, you're failing already. Right. So
dude, I want to dig into your, like, you growing up in your family. I feel like it, like I said, I saw your podcast with your DJ business. I wanted to ask you a little bit, like, so growing up, what was your family dynamic like?
So I had two brothers, both younger than me. Both my parents were teachers. My dad eventually became a principal in Jersey, and he was also a baseball coach. So like we were all huge on sports, like basketball, baseball, football, soccer, like something always happening.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play on like 3 baseball teams this summer.
You're a baseball guy?
Yeah, big baseball guy.
Let's go.
I was like getting recruited a little bit to play for college, but ended up just like, I know I'm not doing this forever. I want to go to a school I want to go to, and went to JMU. But yeah, I mean, like growing up was pretty good. Like,
yeah, what part of Jersey were you growing up in?
my family's all from Jersey City, but we moved to the suburbs and like Bergen County, Jersey.
Oh, nice.
Went to school there, high school there. So yeah, it was like suburb Jersey, lots of sports, lots of basketball in the front of the house. Our house a lot of times was like kind of after school, everybody would come hang, and
you're the fun house to be at.
Somewhat. I mean, like my parents were super strict, so not like the fun house in that sense, but as far as just a place to like meet up and go do whatever we're gonna do.
Yeah. And so is there anything like your family like kind of instilled in you? Like I said, you seem pretty hardworking, and like obviously, you know, you're doing well for yourself. Like I said, you're very consistent, you're hardworking. Is there like anything that your family is kind of like embedded in you that you've kind of taken with you?
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously the hard work aspect, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I had jobs from like the moment I could start working. So restaurants, I was a janitor in my school when I was like 16. Like I used to work, I worked as much as I could because I wanted certain things that like my mom or dad would be like, well, we can't afford this right now. Like we can't get Nintendo 64 or whatever the thing at the time was. So yeah, like I learned that if I worked hard and I sort of created my own path, that I could get the things that I wanted. And I think that mind state carried through pretty much everything I did, you know, like once you work for yourself and you set a goal and you say like, oh, I want to work so I can buy this thing, and you eventually get there, it's like, oh, well, I can do this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think that realization of like hard work, putting the time and energy into something that you want, that you can achieve it, even if it's a small $100 or whatever.
Yeah. So if you weren't a DJ, what do you think you were going to be? Like what was your career path going besides janitor?
I mean, I've been in sales forever. I was like, I had sales jobs in middle school where I was creating like a Pogs. I was like selling baseball cards.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So like always a sales mind state, always a hustler mind state. When I graduated, I worked for a publishing company. I worked for a building supply company as a sales rep. But I love marketing and branding. I love taking an idea. Like my favorite thing that we do is when I meet with a DJ or an artist and we talk about like, what's the long-term goal? How do we get there? And how do we create a brand around what you're trying to accomplish, right? What are the colors? What are the fonts? What are the type of things that you're posting? What are the core pillars of the content that you're posting? I fucking hate social media, but it's a necessary evil, right?
It's a tool, yeah.
So I think what I would have a marketing company, a small marketing company focused on creating and growing brands. I think that's what I'm really passionate about. And like eventually when this is done, I might go down that path, but I'm really passionate about that. I enjoy it. It's something that like I really like doing.
Is there something specific you like about it?
I don't know. I just think like in my own brand, it's been my favorite part of working on Cream is kind of how do I want to be portrayed in the marketplace? And I saw success when I really narrowed in on what that was.
Right.
I think having a focused brand is a brand that people can understand. And you have to make it simple, and you have to make it very clear about what you're trying to do or what your brand puts out into the world. So I like helping people simplify and project that.
Yeah, I love that. And then that leads me to my next question. I want to ask you about the Sound Grid party that you started.
Yeah.
I've seen you on socials. You've had guest DJs. You created a really cool environment, and I think it's sick. I'm very curious about the starting process of that, and like I assume that was your next your project, your next toy that you wanted to build from the ground up.
Yeah, there's a lot of toys that we want to build. It's just how much time do we have, right?
Yeah.
Sound Grid Party was something that I sort of started as I just want to play the music that I want to play. And I want to do something cool in a venue that I have a lot of control, right? So at Birch in Hoboken, I'm the entertainment director there. I've been DJing since they opened there, basically. And like, you know, it's selfishly, I want to start something that I can do something different once a month or once every other month. I want to move the DJ booth. I want to play all my style of house music, whether it's like bass house or, you know, deeper tech house or whatever. So it sort of started as that. And then some of my DJs from my team on Get Down DJs, like slowly were getting involved. And like, Kareem, I'll come help you set up, or, you know, I'll do this, or I'll set up the cameras. And like, so Tim Vu and Marco from Two Face sort of really stepped up early on, and they were like, dude, we need to like brand this. And then we started like taking it seriously after a few parties where it was like, all right, this is now a thing. Let's come up with a name. Let's create the socials. And yeah, like sort of take it from there. And we're all really busy in our own projects and our own businesses and stuff. So does SoundGrid get enough time that it really, really needs to be like a super successful thing? No. But it's definitely something that we enjoy. It's a passion project, and it's really not about like the money with that. It's about throwing something cool. We've been lucky because we've been able to bring some really dope DJs in. We just had Sung, who I think he hit like number 3 on Beatport with his latest track that he just came out. He's been really popular on socials. Yeah. But just like the Kazes and the Rick Wonders and just like dope people that we wanted to work with.
That's awesome. Yeah, and like congrats on that, because you know what, it's such a privilege and a blessing to be able to like do something really, you know what, like I want to do this because I actually want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's something that you don't really necessarily like need or want to make money on, but it's something that can fuel you into who knows what it can turn into, right?
People can feel the passion when you're really into doing something. So I think like DJs in your markets, if you aren't playing the places you want to play yet, or, you know, you maybe don't get to play the type of music that you want to play, I think starting a party is the best way to do it, because it could be anywhere. It could be in a coffee shop. It could be in a pizza place. Like, yeah, maybe that's a little played out, but 2026 or 2025 has showed us that these parties, you can create a lot of traction, right? Like you can use socials, you can not spend a lot of money and have these like really cool setups. And as long as you're savvy a little bit with the tech and can set some cameras up and like, it allows you to do something that you want to do on your own. You know, you don't have to wait for a booker to put you on, or
I think that's the number one thing. Like, and also to creating an experience, creating a moment. I think a lot of people crave that. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are looking for a new reason to step outside their house, right? Like I started like my run club last summer, bringing that back. Like, if you want to go run a few miles, like, you know, just go and then come hang out after, like little stuff like that. And like the boat party I just started, it's like people are craving experiences now, especially in 2026. You know what I mean? So, and also too, like, I wanted to get into, I saw you just joined 4 a.m. Congratulations, brother. I would love to learn more about that, and you know, what makes you excited about it and what got you involved, and like kind of what you're looking forward to with that. Yeah.
So just announced signing as an artist of 4 a.m. Been working with them for a little bit, and honestly, always something that I've wanted to achieve as far as specifically 4 a.m. because it's a New York-based agency, and you know, I always looked up to Chachi and Rick and some of the DJs that are signed there, and like over the last year, just getting sort of closer with Chachi and Madison and bringing as much value as I possibly could to them, right? Whether it's helping them book gigs with some of our Get Down DJs, whether it's playing shows for them, like last minute stuff and just going in and doing the best job I can, whether it's feeding them corporate or private events, right? Like that was all stuff that I was doing before we ever really had a working relationship. Because I think if you think about what can I do for this person or this venue or this group, you don't have to think about it like, well, what's in it for me? If you just think about like, how can I help as many people as possible, things are going to come back your way.
Yeah.
And that's really how it started with 4 a.m. From I own a booking agency called Get Down DJs, and you know, we've been exploring opportunities to work with 4 a.m. for the last few years. So it's just been a really easy way to work together. We have very similar values as far as, you know, the DJs we want to work with and the types of stuff we want to put out into the world. So you know, working with them, signing with them as an artist, and then also now sort of on the back end, creating this strategic partnership with 4am and Get Down, where we're working together. You know, some of the Get Down DJs are now playing some 4am shows and vice versa. It's been like a really cool thing. So
that's awesome. Congratulations, brother. Let's see. I want to ask you this as a DJ, and then I want to ask you as a human being. Is there a goal that you have of a place you want to play at? Is there something you want to achieve as a DJ, as a hustler, as an entrepreneur? Is there something you really want to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, doing this for so long, it's like I've achieved a lot of the things that I've wanted to achieve, right? Whether it's like producing my own music was always something that was really important to me. But I think now at the point where I'm at, I'm playing a lot of the rooms that I want to play at. I think the next thing is really like just really focusing on the music and getting booked as more as an artist and not as a DJ, like DJ Cream, open format Cream that does the house thing.
Right.
Like I want people to book me because they like my music and they want to come buy tickets and come see me play. So I think that's really the next step. It's a lot easier said than done, but you know, focusing on the music and the production side of things and just getting better there and putting out a lot of music is really kind of the next big thing for me.
More consistency from Cream you should expect. The journey continues.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And then, you know, as a human being, dude, like when you come home at the end of the day, like is there something you really want to achieve? Just like, is there something in your life you want to achieve that isn't necessarily work?
It's something I've been achieving in the last couple of years, just really having more of a separation of like home and family and then work. Forever it was like work. I'm gonna give up all this stuff, all the holidays, birthdays, like I'm giving it all up because I just want to continue working and be as busy as possible. You know, I'm been dating my girl for a while. I think like on the personal side, like getting married is a huge one that I'd like to achieve here soon. And really just focusing on like the personal life because I've sort of put it off for so long. So just having like a balance and not so much 100% work all the time. And I think I've gotten a lot better with it, and it's something I continue to work on. Yeah,
I can relate to that a lot, dude. Sometimes you're skipping holidays, you're skipping friends or your friends' weddings, your cousins' weddings.
Yeah.
Like it can get messy, but it's like it's that fuel that you have, right? And it's become like an actual human. I remember my girl asked me like a few weeks ago, she's like, Kev, what are your hobbies? And I was like, dude, I don't know, like fucking, you know, editing, making music. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like you think about it, and that's like, you know, I start taking up like the yoga and boxing and running, and it's like try to find stuff that's just different outside of work, right?
One of my goals this year was to find a hobby that had nothing to do with music.
How you doing so far?
I mean, like the gym is really that's like my number one hobby. I really like to read a lot, so that's another one. Just like beginning of the day, end of the day, trying to like open the book or the Kindle or whatever it is and at least read like one chapter, right? Beginning and instead of like doom scrolling, waking up, picking up my phone, wake up, pick up my Kindle. So that's been one. And then, just more consistent in the gym. I think like being on the road and drink, not that I drink a lot, I've really like cut that down a ton. But just like we don't live the healthiest lives. So I think really being focused on the workouts and the sleep and the health and what I put into my body is like another sort of hobby that I've been really focused on more recently. I like lost a bunch of weight in the last you're not 6 months
you're
or whatever.
Not so cream anymore.
Yeah.
Want to ask you this too. So obviously there's a lot of highlights in your life. You know, you're doing well. You're very, like I said, consistent. You're hustling. Was there ever a point in time where one, you wanted to quit and give up? And two, was there ever something in your life that set you back? And if so, how did you get through that?
Yeah, man, lots of things. There's been lots of setbacks. I always look at it like, try not to dwell on that stuff and how can you move beyond it? So I would say a huge point that was the hardest point was definitely COVID time.
Right.
Obviously, all of our businesses were shut down. You know, it was tough financially. You know, everything we were used to doing, all the gigs, they were just gone, right? And it's a scary place when something that you love and something that pays the bills is all of a sudden like gone. Right. So definitely thought about like, well, do I just go back to like sales or do I like get out of this? And instead of doing that, I doubled down on content. I doubled down on music. We doubled down on Get Down DJs. And it really paid off because as we kind of came out, our businesses like exploded because we were so active during a time where like people could kind of just stepped away.
It was like a whole big reset, I feel like.
Yeah.
Were you part of the Facebook live streaming community?
Yeah, we did some Twitch streaming. Yeah. We had some get down streams going, and we did like beat battle. We did all kinds of shit, man. Yeah. It's sort of where like the Grow My DJ business at the time, we called it the Get Down podcast, sort of started. Gary W, my business partner, like we're just like looking to kind of figure out ways to stay active and have content to post and provide something to the DJ community in a time where there was really nothing going on. And it wasn't just the typical like, I'm going to stream my set, because everybody was kind of doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the podcast spawned out of that too.
When are you bringing it back, bro?
But yeah, I think that, and then like my dad passed away a few years back, and he like was really a driving factor for me with, you know, the sports and music. Right. He like was kind of like my go-to, one of my best friends and stuff. So, you know, losing him was really tough, and I wanted to sort of step away and take a step back, but you know, just getting back into the music and going out and doing my thing like really helped me get through that. So
yeah. I'm sorry for your loss, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, man.
How long?
It's been a while. It's been like 5 or 6 years, but
okay. So my question for that is, you know, when all of that kind of happened, like you said, you took a step away, and how have you been able to like grieve, I guess you could say, because like it's a very tricky thing, but I just lost my uncle in December, and like he's so close to me, and like, and it's one of those things where, and it just happened out of nowhere. I got done DJing a gig and like at like 2:30 in the morning, I get a call. I had to go to my grandma's house, and he passed away, and it was like so sudden, like, and I guess like asking you just like as a human, like how did you grieve somebody so close to you, and how do you continue to live on?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to go through, right? Like you lose your dad or someone you love a whole lot. It's like really, really tough thing. I probably should have taken more time off. I probably should have spent more time with my family right afterwards, and like really grieved instead of just like throwing myself back into the flow of everything. But that's just like kind of who I am, and I don't really know any other way, I guess. Yeah. But I think that whole process started me thinking about, well, I can't just do music all the time and do work all the time. Like, I need to go spend time with my mom and my brothers and my girlfriend and our family. Like, it really made me reflect back on what is actually important, right? Yep. Like, on my deathbed, am I going to be thinking about like, oh, this club gig that I missed when I was 25? Like, no, I'm going to be thinking about my relationship with my mom and my brothers. And like, that's what's really important. So it really made me focus on having this other family side that I focus on and take time for. And I'm very strategic about, honestly, just like I am about my business. I need to be strategic and create time for the people that are really important for me.
Yeah, I find that really important. I feel like when something like that happens, it kind of like makes it real life. Because like when we're working, it's like it's real life, but you're not thinking about people. You're kind of thinking like it's hard to explain. You know, like when you're in flow state and you're working and you're trying to grow your business, you're not really thinking about like if something like that were to happen, right? Yeah. And finding it important to make more time for family. Have you? Has there been a time where you've kind of felt disconnected from your family and you kind of worked your way back?
Yeah, I've always had a good relationship with my fam, but there's definitely been times where like haven't seen my mom in a while, way too long, or talked to my brothers, or just caught up with my cousin, or like whatever the case may be, or where I've needed to be there for somebody and I haven't because I was on the road or playing a gig or getting drunk in a nightclub to like take my pain away kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's like I said, it's definitely be tough because like I said, you're in the hustle, you're self-medicating, you're working, and it's like, it is good to always reconnect. Like I said, I found myself coming home more, seeing my dog Maxie and like my mom and all that stuff, and it's been nice. But so when it comes to I'm not going to get cliche and ask you what your version of success is, but I guess what I can ask you is like, I'm always so curious about like, cause like I said, I've had like athletes, I've had DJs, I've had, influencers, all this type of stuff, all different kinds of people, regular human beings. Like I always ask somebody what fulfills them and what's something that like at the end of the day they could be proud of, and something that they can like feel genuinely fulfilled. Because like you said, you can have a full calendar but not be fulfilled. Is there something that, you know, fulfills you?
Yeah, a few things. I think number one is seeing the success of some of our younger DJs, like the next generation of DJs. It's really important for me to sort of, you know, help DJs achieve their goals. That's something that's always been really important to me, like an educational part of this, right? A mentorship part of this. You know, people help me on my way up the ladder, and it's really important in helping the younger DJs. Yeah. So when they achieve their goals, it makes me happy. It's like, damn, that's awesome. Like, I love to see the growth. I love that you were opening and now you're headlining this place, or whatever the case may be, right? So I think that's one thing. I don't know.
You could honestly, if that's honestly, it's a good one, right? Yeah. So like your fulfillment is seeing others happy, seeing others succeed, and like, well, also, you know, when yourself is taken care of. I think it's a naturally, like, it's not you don't see that often, but it's like when you do see it, it's very important, because like it is it's an abundance mindset, right? It's an abundance lifestyle. I always feel like, you know, helping others and being able to, like, you know, provide value. That's been like something it's been like my mantra. Literally, I tell anyone, I have like some guys who like ask me like, hey, I'm learning to do this, I'm getting involved in this. What's some advice? I'm like, dude, provide value. Yeah. It is never about you. I always say you're the least important person in that room. If the bar's making money, then they're smiling, then you're good.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I have another one. I think for me, the fulfillment that I feel now is being able to wake up and do what I want to do, and say no to many things that I don't want to do for money or for the look or whatever. I've sort of created this life, right, that I get to wake up and do what I want to do every day. And I can wake up pretty much when I want, right? I can go to bed when I want. I can work on my businesses when I want. That freedom is like success to me. Yeah. So I might not make as much money as I could make, but I make enough money that makes me happy and allows me to provide for my family and buy some things that I like, and like, but wake up every day and like, yeah, there's things that I do that I don't necessarily want to do, that I have to do, but generally, like, the things I'm doing are the things I want to be doing. And that brings happiness. And to me, that's a sign of success, when you can wake up and do what you want to do.
I love that. I always tell myself, like, dude, if I could wake up every day, and because like, I want to get into some of your odd jobs you had too, because I had some shitty jobs, dude. Like, I was a food runner at Chickies growing up, and like I was working like at an asphalt company, like doing their social media, like wearing Tim's every day and a polo, and like just trying to make both things work. And it's like, you know, it's always a blessing when you're able to wake up and like, yo, like you're going to Tampa today, you're going to get to play, you know, wherever. Like, it's always a blessing when you're able to have those opportunities, and remaining grateful. But so when you were kind of like, before you were, how long have you been full-time DJing, I guess is the question.
I don't know. Probably over 10 years, I'd say.
It's amazing. Yeah. Congrats. So like before that, right, when you were in your sales jobs and you were hustling, like what were some of those jobs that you worked? I'm curious.
I mean, going back to like high school and college, I was a janitor. Like I said, I was a janitor. It was my first job ever when I was 16. I delivered pizza. I delivered Chinese food because a girl in my homeroom, her family owned a Chinese restaurant, and she saw I had a car, and she asked me if I wanted to deliver Chinese food, which was hilarious and awesome. In college, I worked for as a sales rep for the college newspaper. Wow. I sold cars.
You've done everything, cuz.
Yeah. What else? And then like once I graduated from college, I worked for a publishing company as a sales rep. So I was on college campuses every day, like working with professors and trying to get them to buy our like texts and online platforms or whatever. And my last job, I worked for James Hardy, which is like a building supply company, and I fucking hated it. Like I couldn't hate anything more. It was the fucking worst.
What was it?
It was an outside sales job. My territory was like all the way out on Long Island, like Montauk, then all the way down to like Princeton. So, but I was in like the Bronx and Queens, and like I was basically waking up and traveling somewhere every day. Like I have zero interest in building supplies or building homes. Like I'm not into that in any way. Like I'd rather hire somebody than fix something in my house. Like,
were they all commission jobs?
like salary plus commission. I think what I liked about all of them was the freedom, right? Like I didn't have to wake up and go to an office job every day. I could wake up and like be on the road or be in my car or work from home. And like that was something that was attractive to me, especially as my DJ business started picking up.
Right.
But I'll never forget it. I worked like a long weekend, like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And my boss at the building supply company had a sales call, like a team meeting every Monday at 7 a.m. I'm like, what fucking asshole has a team meeting on Monday at 7 a.m.? And I used to wake up, get on the call, and like fall back asleep with the phone on my chest because I was so tired.
Yeah. Wait, that's so funny. I actually got fired from one of my jobs because I couldn't make the Monday meetings. Like they were 9 o'clock too, and I just was so hungover from DJing the night before that I couldn't make it. That's so funny.
But yeah, like I gave zero fucks about that job, and I'm like, just fire me. So I can get unemployment and I will go on my DJ journey. And I used to always say to my mom, like, if it doesn't work out, like I'd always just get another job. And that was like 12 years ago or whatever it's been. So
yeah, and I mean, look at you now. Do you have those conversations with your mom at all about like, because I know when I started, my mom was like, "Kev, when you gonna get a real job?" And I'm like, just give me a little bit. I got you. Did you ever have those conversations with your mom? And
I did, but she was always really supportive. I think she knew how hardworking I was and knew that like if I really set my mind to doing something, I could accomplish it. Like I was always good at successful in school and got good grades and stuff. So like I think she knew that anything that I wanted to do and would really like focus my time and energy on, I could be successful at. And she knew that I had that backdrop of sales that I could always go get another job if it didn't work out. So she was really supportive in that way. You know, being a DJ, being a full-time DJ isn't necessarily like, I think there's a lot of negative stereotypes that people think about, but I used to love breaking those stereotypes because I had a marketing degree and I treated my business as a business. And I think once people got to know me and hear me talk about it, they understood more like, oh, he's not just a DJ that wants to go party. Like he's building a business.
Yeah. There's a certain, I've had this conversation with myself recently. It's like, there's a certain point where it's like, it is a business, right? You always think that, but it's like you kind of lean more into the business and the career side of things and less into the perks and what it gives you, right? Like you go to any bar and you get a drink tab or whatever. It's like, it's a job, man. It's your career.
Yeah. If you're a DJ listening, like you're a business of one and start, if you're not treating yourself as a business, then start, get your LLC, get a business credit card and a business bank account. Like, all that stuff's really important. And I think it helps you in your mind state, right? If you're if you have all those things, like you have a real business and you're thinking about yourself as a business instead of like, oh, I just go DJ on the weekends.
Right.
And that's even if you have a 9-to-5, like you could write off a ton of stuff if you have an LLC. Like there's a lot of benefits of having that.
Absolutely. I want to ask you too, like, so you mentioned these shitty sales jobs you had. Is there anything you've learned about sales that has really helped you and translated into your DJ career?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're selling yourself every time you open your mouth, right? You're selling yourself every time you talk to a manager or a booker, whether you know you're doing it or not, right? So I think number one, it's understanding like that aspect of how can I help you, right? It's like when you're in sales, you're asking a lot of questions to find out like what's the one thing that moves the needle for this person.
Right.
So I think in your conversations with bookers, like what's the one thing that is going to move the needle? Is it selling tables? Or is it just coming in and like playing your music and playing the right set? Like figuring out what that person sees as success and then feeding into that. So I mean, taking that's been like so valuable.
I've always turned the table. I'm always like, when I'm talking to a venue, it's like, what are you looking for? What do you need? How can I give you value? And I feel like a lot of times they don't really get asked that. They're not like, it's little things like, how's your day going? Like a lot of times they don't get asked that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like nobody wants to hear you talk about your resume. Like, oh, I play here and I did this. Like if you're saying I, and this is what I do, like you're losing the person from the rip, especially if it's someone you just met. Ask about them. Ask about their business. Ask about the things that like, what are you missing right now? What do you wish you had? Like there's so many questions that you could ask. And this could be in your everyday life too. Like what's something that you're really passionate about right now? I think that's like a great question. Instead of like, yo, how was your weekend? Like nobody wants to tell you about their weekend. But if you ask me what's something I'm really passionate about right now, like I'll open my mouth and tell you everything.
Yeah, dude. That's like I've been on this, like I said, I don't know what it is. I feel like I went away for a few weeks, like traveling, and I came back and I just realized to myself, I'm like, I want to be around high frequency people, right? Like, you know, those small talk conversations are,
they suck.
They suck, right?
It's like the worst.
Awful. So like, I saw you light up when talking about the business and DJing and branding. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's my guy. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like, I always try to stay around high frequency people because it's like, I don't want to talk about what shot I'm taking at the bar and how that's the best part of my night. It's like, you know, I want to talk about, what are you working on? What are some things I can help you with? Or, you know, here's some things I'm working on, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
Well, what's the saying, right? You are what the 5 people that you spend the most time with are, or something. Well, I butchered that, but you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. Yeah.
But like, if you surround yourself with people that are more successful, work harder than you, have achieved more, like, they're only going to help you achieve your goals. So I don't know, not that I'm like collecting people or anything, but if you're thinking about who are the people that are most successful and how do I like get by their side? How do I get to be friendly with someone who's already achieved the things that I'm trying to achieve? Like, you could learn so much from those people. So it's good to have like your homies that you could have fun with, but I think it's also important to have your entrepreneur friends that have already achieved the things that you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it has to feed into like your fuel, right? I always say that. Like, and another thing that I always say, people say I'm like a walking quote book. I love like a good quote, dude. So like, something that I've also learned is like, you don't rise to your goals, but you fall to your habits. And you know, the things you do, obviously, it's not the things you necessarily achieve or chase, but it's the things you don't do behind the scenes, right? The habits, or the hanging out with certain people, or you know, remaining in rooms that you shouldn't be in. I always find that stuff super important. And even if it's somebody who's just on your level or anything like that, like, you never want to be the smartest person in the room, but it's always like, it's good to have people who you have stuff in common with, right?
Yeah.
So when you got started, like, what were some of the rooms you put yourself in, and what were some of the things you went extra mile? I'm curious as to like your growth, and like, what are some of the things you chased, and you know, things you wanted to accomplish?
Yeah, as soon as I started DJing, I knew I wanted to be a nightlife DJ. I had like no interest in weddings or private events. I just didn't like them. I didn't like doing them. I liked growing Cream as a brand and a business and a DJ. And when I would go and do the private events, like, I wasn't getting booked for that. So then you're just like a jukebox and you're playing stuff that people are asking you to play, and you don't get to be you, right? So I realized that really quickly. Just wanted to put myself in the rooms in New Jersey and New York City. And at the time, there was a lot of promoters, right? So like in Jersey, it was E-Rock. In New York, it was like Ammo and his crew. So it was just like, how do I like break into the good rooms that I want to break into, and how do I work with the promoters that are working in these rooms? Right. Something I did really early on, I used to make edits and mixes and whatever. So I ended up making 100 t-shirts. I did this a couple of times. I made 100 t-shirts and mixes at the same time, and stickers and all this like promo stuff. And I sent like goodie bags to the clubs and the promoters that I wanted to work with. And like Errol from E-Rock was like, bro, no one's ever done this. This is like really smart. He's like, I would have done this, this, and this, but like, great job. And then like, I started working with them a little bit. I did it at DJs. The first time I ever got booked at DJs, I gave t-shirts to every staff member that worked there, and also all of my friends, because we had like, everyone had houses at the Jersey Shore. So I made sure everybody walked in the room wearing Cream shirts. So the booker Bomb was like, "You're pretty smart, Cream. You're pretty smart."
You're pretty wicked smart. the Jersey accent.
So like, using the marketing brain with the DJ brain to connect with the people that I knew had the power, you know?
Right.
Like, how do I get in front of the people that make the decisions? It's fine if you're friends with all the people that work in a place, but if they're not making the decisions, it doesn't really matter. Right. Yeah, they can help you get in the ear of the person making the decision, but...
Yeah, I call it the mafia handshake. I've flown to places, I've met with GMs, I've met with bookers, and like, I've done the mafia handshake, where it's like, you know, I'm going to shake your hand and have a conversation with you. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just coming to talk to you face to face, just to let you know that I'm here and that I love what I do and I'm passionate about it. You know?
Marty Dunstan's like the king of that.
Oh,
he's like he like takes it even a step too far sometimes. I'm like, bro, like you don't need to do that.
Wait, I fucking love Martin. That's so funny you mentioned that, because like I was DJing at Ladder last Sunday or 2 Sundays ago, and he came by and we were talking, and I was, just telling him about, just congratulating him on everything he's doing. And it's just so funny because like he'll be, shout out Marty if you're watching this, I love you, but I love
you too.
He'll be in Philly, and then he'll be in Florida, and then he'll be he knows the hustle, he knows the game.
Well, he's playing Greenlight Social, I think, this weekend, and he's like, bro, I went there 3 times just to go and show face and hang out and meet whoever I needed to meet before he got booked. So think about that. Like, someone from Philly is flying to Dallas, whether he needed to be there for something else or not, going out of his way to go to this club that he wants to play at, that everybody in the country wants to play at. He did that 3 times and is now getting booked there. Yeah. Like, that's, to me, that just shows who he really wants it. Like, how many people have actually done that? Very few. Like, very, very few.
Sometimes the value is just you being in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes you just have to ask for the things you want also.
Yeah.
Like, there's been so many times where like Chachi be like, bro, just ask this guy. Like, what are you doing? Just ask him. Everybody, like, they know who you are. Just ask him for a booking. I'm like, oh, I never really thought of that.
You know what, bro? I'm the same way too, because it's like, even my girl says it too. It's like one of those things. She's like, because I obviously, your person's like the person you talk to about like everything basically.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, why don't you just ask them? I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, you don't.
What's the worst that can happen? They say no.
Right.
A lot of times they might not even know that you want that particular thing. So if you don't ask, how are they going to even know?
Exactly.
Whether it's like a raise, whether you want to play in a certain place, like.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, dude. So first off, like I said, or to kind of wrap things up, I wanted to just congratulate you on everything you're doing, your hustle. Like I said, I love honestly, like, I love your energy and your passion for this shit, because like I'm the same way, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I love this shit. Like, been doing it for a long time, just like you. And like, my final question I'm gonna end off with is like, so when it comes to, you look at everything you've done, right? You look at everything that you've built, everything you've created, everything you've hustled for. I don't like superlative questions, but I want to ask you this. What is the thing you're most proud of that you've done so far? It could be anything, bro.
Man. I don't know. I would say Get Down. Like, starting Get Down and sort of growing the agency, which it was more like a collective and a cultural thing and a DJ forward thing that turned into a business. I don't know. I think that is what I'm most proud of. It was like, we built like $1 million business, so $1 million plus business from just DJ bookings, which is like crazy to me. So I think that's what I'm most proud of. I think like all the Kareem stuff and like the wins are great, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's something that can last longer than you. Something that kind of like,
right. Like, you leave a legacy. When I stopped DJing, it's like the coaching tree, right? It's like the Belichick coaching tree or whatever.
Yeah, literally.
Like the Kareem and Gary coaching tree. I think that's like something that you can leave behind and people can recognize.
Yeah, where's your Josh McDaniels at? That's you gotta find. But bro, I want to honestly thank you for coming on. I know it's been a long time coming. I know we've been trying to make it work for a little while. I appreciate you being here, bro. And
dude, great convo. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, bro. I know we're gonna have some good sets tonight at Barstool.
Yeah,
I'm upstairs.
let's go.
You're downstairs.
I know. I love it. We're taking over Barstool Philly tonight.
Dude, this is a Kareem and Kev collab.
Let's
here.
go.
I'm gonna be. I'll send down one shot down from the. I'll have a server send you down a shot.
Wow.
But yeah, bro. So thank you so much for watching this episode of The Loft and/or listening. I'm Kev Nichols, and that is DJ Kareem. Peace, guys.
Peace.